So So as I said, my name is Majuk. I'm a South Sudanese by nationality, and I'm advocating on behalf of the detainees in Australia. Could you please introduce yourself to me as well?
Well, my name is Samuel Khalifa Dichak. I'm from South Sudan. I'm a Dinka tribe from Awil.
Beautiful. Samuel, how old are you, probably?
I'm 29.
Beautiful. And where are you located at the moment?
At the moment, I'm in MITA, Melbourne Detention Center, Melbourne Transit Detention Center in Broadmeadows, Victoria.
Good. And Samuel, do you have any family in Australia?
I only have my mom and my little brothers.
Right. And where are they living at the moment?
They all live here in Victoria, Melbourne.
In Melbourne. And
Yeah.
when did you migrate to Australia?
We came to Australia back in 2005.
Right. And did you came to Australia with your family, or did you migrate first by yourself?
I came with my mom and my little brothers and sisters, my little sisters, I mean.
Your little sisters.
Yeah.
Are you the oldest among your little sisters?
I'm the second oldest.
Very good. Right. So which visa category did you arrive in Australia with? Is it a humanitarian visa?
Yes, we had a special humanitarian visa, permanent resident.
Right. And did you migrate direct from any refugee camp in East Africa, like Kakuma?
We went through Egypt refugee camps.
So you came from through the Egypt, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And Samuel, do you know if your visa that you came with, the permanent resident humanitarian special visa, is still active or canceled?
It has been canceled.
And has your family been affected by the same cancellation?
Yes, absolutely.
And is your mother and your sibling Australian citizens, or are they having issues?
Yes, they are citizens.
They are citizens. Only you, your visa has been canceled.
Yes, only me.
Okay. So how long have you been detained for right now?
I've been detained for 4 years and a half.
In the same detention center?
I was first in Marabino.
Where is that? Is that in Victoria as well?
Yes, in Victoria. It's in High Point.
Okay. And again, before coming to the detention center and prior to coming to the other detention center, where were you? Were you in prison?
Yes, I was in prison. I was doing 3-month sentence.
3-month sentence.
Yeah.
And what led you to that incident that made you go to the prison?
Well, it was drink driving.
Just drink driving.
Yeah.
Was it recurrent drink driving records, or was just a one-time drink driving?
It was just consistent drink driving, and I had other charges, criminal charges from the past.
From the past.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many times have you been in prison for?
I have been in prison. I have been remanded 2 times, and I have been sentenced to prison 2 times.
2 times, right?
4 times.
4 times. So, what was the longest prison sentence you have ever had among those?
12 months.
12 months. And you've been in and out, and then the last sentence was the one that made you go to the detention center now.
Yeah, the last sentence I got was 3 months, and that's what got me in detention center.
Right. Okay. So when you were charged with all those occurrence of incidences that sentenced you to prison for that time, did the judge ever told you that you will be, your visa will be canceled, or you will be taken to detention center after you serve your sentence?
No, I wasn't aware of anything called detention center. I just thought I was getting out on my release date, and then on my release date, I was being seen by the border force, unexpected visit.
That was in the house, or was it in after on the last day of your release?
Yeah, that was the last day of my sentence in prison.
And then the border force just arrived in and then just took over whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are your family really taking this scenario that you've been going through a lot, and now you are in a situation where you don't know, a situation of no return. You don't know when you're gonna come back to the community. You don't know what your life will be. How
Well, my,
is
my family are very confused, and they are really struggling out there at the moment, especially with me going through this process. And they are very lost in what they can do and what kind of options they have in their hands to be able to support me in this situation I am in,
mm,
and they don't know what to do at all.
right?
Yeah.
Now this is it's a very tough, challenging, and quite confusing. The migration system is very complex, and given the reality that your parents, are just helpless, just with your sibling out there trying to figure out what's going on. Have they ever tried to fight back to see how you can get out back to the community?
Yes, just behaving in here, doing our best, going to programs, signing all the papers the lawyers need, calling all the lawyers for updates on my case to see what's going on, like all the little things that we do that counts. And it shows the fact that we really do care about our process and we do want to go home and leave this place as soon as possible.
So you call yourself now a very reformed man. You have learned your lessons and in a hard way. So are you telling me that if the government allow you today back to the community, you will be a better person to bring the change?
Well, to be honest with you, is the truth is I have always been a good person, and that's just who I am, a good person. The mistake that I have made in the past, it was just the mistakes that I learned in this country, the things that I learned while I was growing up as a young man in this country. Nothing came new from anywhere. I never had experience from how to drive or drink or smoke weed or hang around with people. Everything I learned in here. So I have, if anything, I have developed extra skills, how to become a wise person in a situation that is uncontrollable, So if I get a second chance in my life, if I get a second chance to be able to get out and live my life, I will absolutely not do the things I've done in the past.
Mm.
But I am very proud of myself to be able to be woken up from the situation that I used to be in back in the days and not be able to do it again because of the circumstances that I am in right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you came to Australia very long ago, nearly 20 years now, and that shows that pretty much you've been living your half of your life in Australia. Pretty much
Absolutely.
three-quarters of your life in Australia as a young man growing up. So, did you find yourself going through trouble in high school where all these problems started?
Yes, absolutely. I had a lot of trouble in my primary school. I had a lot of trouble in my high school. The language difficulties was very hard to pick up the language, and being black, surrounded by white kids, was very tough. And not knowing the English language was very tough as well. So those things has made our lives very easy and has caused the trauma in a certain way of how to be accepted as a black person or as a black young man and how to be treated in a way of non-judgmental, because a lot of people in my days when I used to go to my school, I used to get judged a lot and I used to be looked at as a different person because of my color. But growing up from all those things has made me realize that no matter where I am, I'm in a wide country. So no matter what I do, I cannot hide my skin color. I have faced the racism and I will be living it for the rest of my life. So there's no point of me getting depressed over it or being stressed about it and make the wrong decision like other people do, commit suicide and stuff like that because of the skin color or because of other people giving them hard time.
Right. And that's the reality. A lot of kids out there find themselves in trouble because they could not really see the reason as to why they become a victim of their skin color. And that would has made a lot of young people commit a crime they shouldn't even be able to commit, at all. And,
Absolutely.
and and you would tell, from a lot of the other young people who are in the same detention center, they might have gone through the same hell like that. And again, it is about the system, how the system is adjusted, and having a support network around you. So when you were in primary school, high school, did you have any support network where your mother able to read and write?
No, my mom, she never knew how to write. She doesn't know how to read. She can only speak English, but she cannot speak it as well as me, as my little brothers. She's still learning. All these years she's been in this country, she's just still learning. And I wouldn't say her English is great. I wouldn't say her English is excellent, but her English is good. She can speak, not as good, but it's all right at the moment.
Yes. So that's contributed a lot because you are growing up in Australia, going to the mainstream schools where a lot of other kids who are from mainstream are furthering on their studies, and it's become so challenging when you come back home. You learn a lot of things in the schools, and when you come home, the language difficulty, interfere with a lot of communication in the house, and things break down. Is something that we have witnessed a lot. So, what about your mental health status at the moment?
My mental health is very poor at the moment. I'm mentally suffering. I'm physically suffering. But the main thing is mentally, I'm suffering from everything that I'm going through day to day basics. It's a very tough place. It's not easy. We have to put up with a lot of things, including racism. Um, yeah, it's just not easy. Us South Sudanese people in detention center are doing it extra harder than any other nationalities because of our skin colors, because of our background, because of the lack of understanding of the system. It's just a lot of things that we're getting hustled through this place without us knowing our rights, how to fight it back.
So, so you want to tell me the treatment in the detention centers is really worse, even comparing to the outside as well. It's no one, uh, people are subjected to who they are. Is that what he's saying?
Yes, absolutely. This place is putrid. This place is disgusting. This place is no way of anyone can actually sit here and do it one day of their life spending in here. This place makes you want to kill yourself. This place is designed for people to commit suicide. So, most of the time is, people just all they do is spend time by themselves in the house, I mean in the rooms, and just minding their own business because when once they step out of their room they're facing all kind of things. They're facing racism, they're facing a lot of actions that happens for no reason. So mental health issues is very serious in here for
Mm.
us South Sudanese people.
And is there any sort of help that is available within the facility that you are in?
Well, they provide all sorts of help, but those helps that does not help. Those helps are not actually help. Those help are designed for the facilities' own benefits. Those helps is not for the detainees' benefits. It's I don't see them benefiting from him. I see the facility itself is benefiting from it. So most of the time I just see that um I'm suffering from mental health issues, and this thing is causing me a big trauma in my life, affecting me mentally, physically, emotionally, or you can name it. And all you they can offer you is someone you can talk to. And this person you're gonna talk to, this person you don't know who they are. You don't know what they want, and you don't know what kind of information you're giving out to them about yourself. And you don't know who these people could be capable of as well at the same time. And the services they're actually providing, these services are very limited. Not to the point that you feel like you're very confident and you think you're actually achieving something from it. You're actually not achieving anything because all they're doing is they're feeding you more lies instead of giving you the truth about your situation, because everyone in here needs to go home. People are suffering from mental health because they don't know when they're going home. People have done more than 6, 7 years in here. It's ridiculous.
Wow. So there are some people who have sit there for 7 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
And probably, do you know how many South Sudanese, just a rough guessing on what you could count? How many?
Maybe about 20.
About 20, that is a very light number. Are there
Yeah.
some female?
No, there's no females. I think there's females, but we never put together with females. Females
Okay,
are be different section.
okay, different section.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a chance to talk to the gathering where South Sudanese are sitting down and the young people are sitting down, wanted to listen to the scenarios you guys are going through, what could
Yeah.
you tell them?
Well, what I really would be able to say to them, I would just say like, no matter how hard it is, at the end of the day, there's a light under the tunnel. So everyone just gotta keep their head up and stay stronger than you possibly can, because we're doing it over our limits. We're going through over our limits at the moment. We're doing the best we could to stay strong. We're not staying strong for anyone. We're doing it for ourselves. And these people are making us doing it harder than we're supposed to do it. So my message to everyone out there is to actually just keep your head up and keep moving forward.
Right. And if you have a chance to talk to the minister who is responsible for the cancellation of visas and who is responsible for making people go to the detention, what would you be able to tell the minister?
I would probably just gonna pretty much give them a couple of words. They need to experience these things by themselves. They need to put someone here physically to go through what people are going through, because word cannot explain what we're going through. Only actions. And they need someone physically to come here, stay for 6 years and go through what we go through, and make sure that person is painted black as well in any ways, so they can actually experience the trauma that Africa or South Sudanese are going through at the moment. It's harder than it usually is. So the message is going out there for them. They need someone physically to be here to actually experience it, because word can't explain this trauma. This is a serious issue.
Mm. Samuel, and again, a lot of young people like yourself who went through trouble when you were a young child, young boy. A lot of other young people are still going through a lot of violent scenarios on the streets of Melbourne all the time, killing themselves and causing some more violence. And then again, they get provoked to do such kind of things. There is a rise in drug consumptions on the streets around Australia, and there is alcohol abuse around Australia. What can you tell your younger peers, the young South Sudanese, the young Africans? What can you tell them to maximize and utilize their time available to them very well?
Well, man, word from me is that I'm not perfect myself, man. I messed up out there. I robbed people. I stole. I had a fight with randoms. I did a lot of wrong out there. I'm not perfect, but I have learned from my mistakes, which is I'm not going back to the old root of what I used to do back then. I did it because most of us South Sudanese community or African community who came to Australia, we came up with no father figures. We came up with no role models. We came up with people who don't know who their uncles or who their fathers are. So we learned the hard way. Everyone learned their own way, and that's the mistakes that we made. We never did anything intentionally, but we made anything from mistakes. And being a young man, it's normal for young men to go through things by themselves, especially if they don't have role models or father figures in their lives to show them the right directions. Instead of telling them this is the right way and this is the wrong way, we don't have that. Some people are very lucky they have that, So us South Sudanese were very unlucky to not have that. So, my message to these young people out there is it's okay to make mistakes how long you're not doing it deliberately, it's okay to make mistakes and just make sure minimize your drinking, and party less. There's nothing wrong with drinking as well. You can drink casually or occasionally. You can drink whenever you finish your work, you at home, drink with your close mates, have people having your back, watching you around, because you can't even drink with strangers because these days it's very hard. You can drink with strangers and those strangers can turn against you. So most likely they need to just cut down on the drinking. About the drinking is the main issues out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, a lot of kids and their families are doing harder and harder and harder ways at the back down in the communities. Your mother tried her best. She was a single mother who trying to bring up her children in the rightful way. And again, the system didn't support her, in a right way that was needed and that was intended. Now, what would you tell to the struggling young families and the families of the single mothers who are really doing it the hard way with their children at the moment?
Well, the single mothers are out there, they're doing their best. Like, I cannot ask more than what I got. I got my mom. She's a beautiful lady. She did it all on her own. My father left her when I was very young age. I don't even know who my father is. But I'm very proud of my mom at the end of the day. I have a few stepfathers, but that doesn't mean anything. It just seemed like my mom, she just had to go through the struggle she had to go through to raise me to be the man who I am today. But at the end of the day, is my message is out for these women to just keep staying strong and believe in themselves, because whatever they're doing a good job. They're not making false promises. They're doing what they can, and they're actually keeping up with the words. And the main thing is for these young men, they need to understand those mothers that put in extra efforts to be able to support us, to be able to put food on the table for us, shelter on our heads, to be able next day to wake up and go to work or go to school or go somewhere because they want us to be something and become someone one day. These ladies, they put on hard work. So I'm very proud of all the single mothers out there. I'm very proud of all of the young men who actually have no father figures as well, who they're doing it by themselves because they're just going through lessons of life by themselves without any role models, without any people who've given them directions, which is very hard. No one can ever succeed in this world going blindfolded, but we are making it without any help, which is very big goal for us. So yeah, my message for this single ladies or single moms, they just need to keep doing what they're doing, and they're doing a great job at the moment.
Great indeed. And again, Samuel, if the government give you a chance, second chance today, and second chance would come as saying that you will be taken back to South Sudan, a country you have never knew, a country you have never been to before, and the government wanted to take you back, would you be able to rather go back to South Sudan rather than staying in the detention center?
Well, to be honest, like I do my best. I do my best to not go back because I never been to South Sudan. I don't know what's the life like over there. I was born in Sudan. I was born in Port Sudan. I left Sudan when I was 4 years old. I left Sudan when I was four, maybe five. I stayed in Egypt for 3 years. I came to Australia when I was eight, and I'm 29 now. you know, and imagine the time frame I spent in Australia. Like I didn't even know the language when I came here. I couldn't even speak, you know. So Australia has a big factor in me. You know, it has a lot of things about me is I learned is in Australia, you know. So I'm part of Australia, you know. Like it's not that I deny that I'm not South Sudanese. I am South Sudanese and I'm proud. But at the end of the day, it's me getting taken back to South Sudan where I don't know nobody or nothing in there. It's gonna be very difficult for me to survive or even to live. You know, just to live in there, it's gonna be very difficult, and it's not an easy thing because South Sudan is a country of war, and a lot of young African males, a lot of young South Sudanese males are actually getting involved and becoming victims of these wars because they get joined to the military for unknown reasons, and that's not safe for anybody, man.
Yes, yes, indeed. And if the government also, in the other hand, give you a second chance to go back to the community, and uh, what would you be doing to bring back the laws of the life in time, the time you've spent outside the community? What would you do to regain it back and to give back to the community?
To be honest with you, man, to give back to the community, first thing I need to clean up myself. I need to step in the in the right shoes. I need to walk on the right path for be able to be in a position to be able to advocate or to advise people. You know, I'm not perfect, like I said, man. I'm full of mistakes. You know, full of false promises. But at the end of the day, is the best thing I could give to anyone out there is I can be there for them when they need advice. You know, I can share my mistakes, you know, I can I can help them if they need me my help. But number one priority is when I get out is I need to look after myself too. I need a job, I need accommodation, I need to start fresh from the scratch, you know. There's no I'm 29, I'm not getting any younger, you know, so I need to be able to do the right things all over again. That doesn't mean like I have fucked up for good. I just messed up a little bit, and I'm just kind of working my way back up to where I left it, but you know, in a good way, not in a bad way.
Good. So, what would be your last appeal to the Australian government and the wider Australian community an African community in Australia? What would be your appeal to on behalf of the people in detention and on behalf of yourself?
Well, on my behalf of the people in detention is we human beings, man. We young survivors. We you know you know we child soldiers in a way, you know, because we grew up on our own. You know, we grew up on our own with no father figures, no role models. These two words means a lot to me, you know. No father figures, no role models means a lot to me because those two things, if you have it in your life, you'll be okay. But if you don't have it in your life, you'll go through roads that there's no signs and you can have an accident. You can have some sort of um any complicated situation you can go into, you know, you can kill someone without even knowing, you know, just going through this situation with no role models, no father figures in your life. But my appeal is to these people out there who's responsible for holding us here is to give us a second chance. You know, we never did anything deliberately. You know, anything that we have done, we done it by mistakes. Was through learning. We just growing up, young men's. Young men's when they're growing up, they touch the wrong buttons for them to be able to feel the right buttons. So we have done mistakes, but those mistakes is to make us open our eyes for us to realize where we're going in the future. You know, it's not because you know, we want to make those mistakes. We're not getting any enjoyment from it. We just kind of testing where we're going, where we want to be in life, you know, because we never had the right people there to show us or to tell us those buttons were wrong. We shouldn't be touching them from the start. but we never had those people, you know, and those people were the role models and the father figures. But the end of the day is we deserve a second chance, and we will make everyone proud, from our mothers to our community leaders to our sisters and brothers. You know, we all deserve a second chance, and the future. The only thing we can say is the future will tell the truth. You know.
And that's surely right. Everyone in life deserves a second chance. You have done your time in prisons, and that's what the law required. And
Yeah.
and especially being in a detention center, you should have been rehabilitated in a community rather than just being detained in a place where you don't know what's the life holds for you. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Samuel, for talking to me. And our role is to advocate on your behalf and to engage the government not to send people to prison while and then serve the maximum term and then come back and put in detention again. So we just need people to be rehabilitated, you know,
Yeah.
given a
Yeah.
great psychological services, to go back to the community. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
and I will speak to you again.
Thank you, my job.
No, thank you so much, Samuel.
Hey, man, don't forget to buy me some food, man.
Yep, not a problem. I will do that. I'll buy
You
you
do
some.
it now? Can you do it now?
Yeah, I'll do that now.